Okay, anyway, I got B is 12. Okay, here's the thing though, in the second quadrant, the x value is negative, so we should think of this as a negative 12. You always think of the hypotenuse or the r value as positive. But yeah, the x value is like negative. So what they said to do was find the value of the other 5 trig functions. So we got sine is 5 over 13, so we need what's cosine, what's tangent. So this is like SOHCAHTOA stuff. Okay. Do we need to go over SOHCAHTOA maybe? Or not? What's cosine equal to? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So what's the adjacent? Negative 12. What's the hypotenuse? 13. You could just say it's 12 over 13 and then know that cosine is negative in the second quadrant. That would work too. Tangent is TOA, right? So it's opposite over adjacent. So what's opposite of this angle?
5.
What's adjacent? Negative 12. And then what's the reciprocal of sine? Cosecant. Yes, it is. So this part's kind of easy. As long as you remember what goes with what. If this is 5 over 13, this is 13 over 5. What goes with cosine? Secant. So it's going to be negative 13/12. You flip it, you don't switch the negative though. Cotangent will be negative 12/5. Okay, 14 says, what are the 5 trig functions? You can equal.
Wait for 13?
Yeah. What? All the 5 trig. Okay.
These are that's the one they gave us, so we needed the other 5.
Okay. Are you gonna give us time to do 14?
Yeah, alright, maybe a minute or two. Cosine, it says it's between negative pi over 2 and 0. So where is negative pi over 2 and 0?
Right now.
Where's negative pi over 2 at? Yeah, it's like negative 90. So it's going to be a 4th quadrant triangle. So it'll look kind of like this. Now the x value should be positive, like the adjacent side, or the x value should be positive. Here's the angle. But the y value is negative. Or you can just remember like sine is negative in this quadrant, cosine is positive in this quadrant. You could do it that way too. But I think it's easier if you just, whatever the adjacent side is, you call it positive. Whatever the opposite side is, you call that negative.
So when I said like tangent 3/4.
So if it's tangent 3/4, tangent is what over what?
1 second. Opposite over adjacent.
So what's the opposite of this side?
3.
3, but since it's going down, it's more like negative 3.
Okay, that's what I was.
Adjacent is 4, and then you have to find the hypotenuse.
Do you say negative 3 squared or just 3 squared? Because negative 3 squared is just going to be the same as 3 squared.
Alright, I'll pause for a couple minutes. Kind of mentioned what we were going to talk about yesterday because Lydia asked. So Katie, we just did this. You might remember these from Algebra 2. That's what we learned yesterday, relearned. It's just the sine, cosine, and tangent upside down, reciprocals. And you remember SOHCAHTOA and all that jazz. And today we're going to be doing this stuff. We're just doing that. I was just finishing yesterday. was he looking the wrong one? Sorry, he didn't check.
Or?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so cosine is what over what?
24.
I mean, cosine on SOHCAHTOA is what over what?
Adjacent over hypotenuse.
So the adjacent is 24. The hypotenuse is 25. So the opposite, how are we going to find the opposite?
24 squared plus b squared equals 25 squared.
Right. Once you solve for this b, or whatever you call it, make it a negative value because it's going down.
So we're only going through 14 on yesterday.
Yeah. I knew we wouldn't have much time. Didn't even get that far.
What are we gonna do tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Oh, I put
Workday?
a worksheet, but I haven't printed it off yet, so maybe I can. But I'm not gonna be here. Wait, I can find it.
Thank you. So excited.
It's only a day.
What? What'd you get?
This. Did you help me even?
Which one's a loop?
Cool.
I finished. I did more. 14? Yeah. That's like
We're actually almost done with this chapter. It's really short. Test one, are you ready?
Here you go. Me and Leo are going on 6.
Good.
Yeah.
We won't do that. First three pages, not the last one.
Oh.
What did you get?
Alright, let's jump in the new thing. Yeah, I kind of mentioned this yesterday, but what a normal sine function does is you feed it an angle, and it spits out a ratio, like opposite and over hypotenuse, right? So sine of 30 is one of the special triangle ones. The opposite is 1, hypotenuse is 2. So if you plug sine of 30 in your calculator, it should spit out 1/2 or 0.5. It spits out a ratio. Okay, what's sine inverse do? Do you guys remember?
It finds the angle for you with
You feed it the ratio, it does the opposite. You feed it the ratio and it spits out the angle. And you gotta make sure your calculator's in degrees or radians, whatever they are asking for.
Mine
But-
says pi over 6.
Okay, that means your calculator's in radians, which they might ask that for that sometimes.
Okay,
Um,
there we go.
Number 1A.
so on 1A, it says degrees though, and we're supposed to round to 1/10 of a degree. So this is just plug stuff in your calculator. Kind of tempted just to skip this part and let you guys do it later.
Or you could let us do it now.
It's not a good use of my time. Okay, so on 1 you need to be in degrees. On 3 and 4 you need to be in radians. Gosh, it's kind of easy peasy.
How many decimal places?
Says the 10th place. What does that mean? 1 decimal place.
I still don't know.
My word.
So what is it, tenths? Hundreds?
Yeah. So, you know, on this side of the decimal, it's ones, tens, hundreds, right? So on this side, it can't start with the oneths. It starts with the tenths. So it's tenths, hundredths, thousandths.
I see what you did there.
I'm pretty sure that's what tripod was.
The oneths place.
Once,
If you can't say it, it's not real. Oneths place. They wanted you to use special triangles on the bottom, but a good calculator can kind of override it.
are these good calculators?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just calculator used for everything.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Works for me.
I guess I won't do a lesson on this one then.
They're still
So I'll have a lot of dead time at